This is CNN Breaking News.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kate Baldwin.
And I'm John Berman. We do begin with breaking news, which will no doubt play big on the campaign trail today. Hillary Clinton did not comply with State Department rules when it comes to her use of a private email server at the State Department. This from a brand new report from the State Department's own Inspector General.
Here it is, an 86-page report. The analysis very critical of Clinton's handling of her email practices during her time running the State Department. Let's bring in CNN's justice correspondent, Evan Perez. Evan, you have seen the report. You have the report. What does it say?
Well, the big finding from this report is one that's frankly not surprising. It's one that says that at a minimum, Secretary Clinton should have surrendered all her emails dealing with the department business before leaving the government service. As you know, she used this private server in her home in Chappaqua, New York. That's what she used exclusively for all her business while she was Secretary of State, and that violated the State Department's rules. Now, the report goes on to say that when she left, she should have at least turned over all those records. And they at least said, though, that she was able to provide them when she was asked for it. She turned over 55,000 pages, 30,000 emails that she had sent while she was in the State Department. But the report does also say that there was, even though she turned over 55,000 pages, there were still some things missing from those emails, including emails to David Petraeus, who was the former CIA director, and also emails to Sid Blumenthal, who was a friend and confidant of hers, who was looking to do business in Libya. This is something that you'll see repeatedly brought up by Republicans who've been investigating not only Benghazi, but also her use of this private server. Now, this doesn't really end all of these the controversy over this private server, because we still have an FBI investigation that is ongoing. We expect that at some point in the next couple of weeks, she might get a call from the FBI asking her to sit down for an interview before that investigation is wrapped up.
Evan, reading the press accounts of this, it also says, among other things, that the Clinton team at the State Department said that their use of the private email server passed legal muster while they were doing it. Yet the IG's report says it found no evidence that a lawyer was even consulted.
That's right. The way this Inspector General went about this was looking not only at Hillary Clinton's use of this private server, but looking at all recent secretaries of state, and they found that essentially what she was doing was something that frankly has not been done by anybody else. And it appears that other secretaries of state have used private emails in some parts of their work, but this is the first time any of these Secretary of State have used a private server to do all of their business. And it's not clear how all of this, who approved all of this. I mean, obviously she was the boss at the State Department, so she could order this be done, and it appears that is exactly how it happened.
All right, Evan Perez taking a look through this analysis, this review. Much more to come on that. Evan, thanks so much for bringing that to us.
All right, I want to bring in our political panel right now. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash, Barry Bennett, the senior advisor to the Trump campaign. We're joined by CNN political commentators Amanda Carpenter, a former spokesperson for Ted Cruz, Patty Solis Doyle, a former Hillary Clinton presidential campaign manager, and Bill Press, a Bernie Sanders supporter. Dana Bash, chief political genius for us. This is going to play in politics, basically immediately. Donald Trump has already been calling Hillary Clinton crooked Hillary. Hillary Clinton, by the way, still running in a primary against Bernie Sanders.
That's right. And as a sports enthusiast, I will use a term that you will appreciate: unforced error. This is something that Hillary Clinton and many, many, many people who I talk to who support her just wring their hands and say, what were you thinking? For many reasons, but just on pure politics here, this feeds directly into the narrative that her opponents, Bernie Sanders on the Democratic side, and ultimately Republicans led by Donald Trump in a general election, will be hammering her on. And in politics, it is the existing narrative and the ability by opponents to feed into that is the most damaging. We've seen that time and time again. And the narrative, of course, is, you're hearing Donald Trump do it in only a way that he does, calling her crooked Hillary. The fact that she didn't comply with the rules, that she appears to have been doing things that were not, maybe she thought she was above the rules, or she's different from the way everybody else should be. Now, she has lots of explanations, lots of ways that she's trying to say that she did what she thought was right. But at the end of the day, when you have an independent investigation going on within the department that she ran, saying that she shouldn't have done several things, including taking her documents and then not giving them back for almost 2 years after she left, that's going to help her opponents in a big way.
One of her supporters is right here with us, Patty Solis Doyle, who is a former campaign manager for Hillary Clinton in 2008. Patty, unforced error is one of the ways that Dana would say that Hillary Clinton supporters would describe it. How would you describe what we're now seeing?
Look, it was a mistake. She admitted it was a mistake. She shouldn't have done it, and she's going to pay a political price for it. But I haven't read the report. Obviously, it just came out. It seems, though, from what I have read, is that there was systemic problems within the State Department dealing with other secretaries of states in terms of emails and, production of emails for the press. But it was a mistake. But I think we do have to see what the FBI comes up with. Wow. Right now, we've seen some reporting that there's no criminal.
That just keeps us going.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good argument for you guys, that this is only the first of what is going to be several.
But I think if the FBI comes out and says that there's no criminal, nobody, not only of her, but any of her aides, then I think a lot of this goes away. And so we have to wait and see on that one.
Bill Press, the guy you support for President Bernie Sanders, famously said last fall, I'm sick and tired of hearing about these damn emails. He seemed to put the email issue to rest in the Democratic primary. Well, the primaries are not over. What do you expect Bernie Sanders to say about it now? Do you think he should bring it up now that there is this official report that says Hillary Clinton did not comply with the rules?
I have not talked to Senator Sanders about it, but I doubt that he will. I don't think he should. I think he was right the first time. I think he reflects.
Why not?
Because I think he reflects what the American people feel about this. I mean, look, first of all, let's not kid her. Everybody is right. This is a real problem for Hillary Clinton. It's not going to go away. It's going to drag out at least through November. And we have to wonder why we see this all the time. People who are so smart do things that are so dumb. At the same time, she's released 30,000 emails. There have been no bombshells in any one of those emails. I think what we see is a sloppy record keeping or of these emails, but no illegal activity. There's no there really, which is why I think Bernie won't go there.
Bernie won't go there, but I'm pretty darn sure that
Barry's already raising his hand. I'll go there now.
His hand, Barry.
I think the most damaging part of this report, where it says that the Inspector General, an independent body, says that she did violate the rules of the State Department. Those rules were enacted to guarantee compliance with the Federal Records Act. Okay. It is not a leap of logic to then say that she has broken the law. The Federal Records Act has been violated. And if that's where the FBI goes, then this is no longer a political problem. It becomes a courtroom problem.
Well, it doesn't have to be criminal just to be unethical, which I think everyone can agree that it is. And I think
you don't think it doesn't have to reach the level of criminality for it to be a real problem
for her to be guilty in the court of public opinion? Absolutely not. I mean, because here's the thing that happened. This isn't about rules and whether she asked the State Department for permission. It's the fact that she set up a private email server to conduct public work for the purpose of convenience, but also avoiding public records keeping laws that Barry mentioned. This is the problem. It doesn't have to go any further than that. She put herself above the law. That is the beginning. That is the end of it. There's no reason to make it any more complicated than that.
In the timing, Dana, I can't get past the timing. The timing here is very, very interesting because today...
And tough.
It is tough for Hillary Clinton. Today may have been a good news day for Hillary Clinton. Maybe she would have won a news cycle against Donald Trump, going after Donald Trump on the issue of what he said about the housing crisis, in the mid-2000s. Now it's not about that. Now the day is about Hillary Clinton's emails. And you know what? This isn't the last day we're going to be talking about Hillary Clinton's emails because, as Patty mentions, there's this DOJ report coming out.
There is, and there is eventually going to be a report coming from Capitol Hill on the broader issue of Benghazi, which kind of is obviously a different issue, but related in many ways. this is the kind of thing that Team Clinton knew was going to be an issue for a long time. It's the kind of thing that they just have to try to it's just damage control as much as they can. The problem is, and Patty's exactly right, this report does talk about systemic problems. Even Secretary Kerry, the current Secretary of State, is talking about how to remedy some of these problems. But John Kerry isn't currently running for president. Neither is, Colin Powell or Condoleezza Rice or anybody else who had problems at the State Department. It's different. They also didn't have their own servers. It's a different situation. It is purely political. And again, I can't underscore enough, it feeds straight into the narrative that Hillary Clinton is just like the rest of them. She's above it all. She doesn't comply with the rules. And that is a very difficult thing to beat back.
Now the waiting game to hear what Hillary Clinton says and how she responds to it, right?
You notice that Kate and I are checking our emails constantly.
Sorry,
We're waiting for an official response from the Clinton campaign or the Clinton team, which has not happened yet. So stick around for that. All of you stick around. There is a lot more to discuss. Just moments ago, Donald Trump called protesters in New Mexico thugs. Thinking of that chaotic scene ahead.
And also this ahead, too toxic? That is what some Democrats are wondering right now about the head of the Democratic Party, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, you see right there. Will they try to push her out now? Coming up, Bernie Sanders' campaign manager is going to be joining us.